Call of Duty is bringing massive changes in Warzone 2.0 and Modern Warfare 2. The multiplayer of Modern Warfare 2 will have brand new features. One of them is underwater action. You can actually dive deep underwater and then fight using your pistol only. Not only that, you can actually use this as a way to flank on to enemies. They also introduced ledge mechanics, which means if you climb up a wall, you can hang on the ledge and now you can use a pistol and peek up to take your enemies down. Now, in Modern Warfare 2019, they introduced sliding, which is now used in every single Call of Duty game. But now they are introducing dive. Basically, you will dive in and go into the prone position. But the most interesting part is that it's high enough so that you can get into a window or get out of a window. They also introduced brand new gadgets. One of them that we saw was a mine that could float on the water body and then you can take out the boats. There is tactical camera, which is basically a camera that you can utilize to see the enemies and mark them out, just like Rainbow Six Siege. There's also DDoS, which seems like an equipment for EMP strike, but I'm not exactly sure about it. Let me know in the comments if you have a better idea. There's also drill charge, which you can throw up in a wall and it will drill an explosion. But another cool gadget that we saw was inflammable decoy. You can throw that mine out, it will make a decoy and it will serve as a distraction for the enemies. I think that has been used in previous games as well, and I think this can be used in all game modes, especially the Search and Destroy one. But it's not only the gadgets but also the guns, but the most important thing about the guns is that you can customize it in a whole different level. They introduced Gunsmith 2.0. In this one, you have weapon platforms, which contains a set of different types of weapons, whether it's assault rifle, SMGs, LMGs, or sniper. You can have a weapon platform of 2 assault rifle, 1 SMG, and 2 LMGs. Now, every weapon will get a receiver as an item to be unlocked. Once a receiver is unlocked, another weapon in that platform gets unlocked as well. And the attachments you unlocked for the previous weapon now works in this new weapon. These receivers are specific for specific weapons. For example, an assault rifle will have a specific receiver. But if you unlock a SMG receiver and you choose to switch to that SMG receiver, now that weapon is an SMG. But the cool thing is, all the attachments you unlocked in the assault rifle can now be utilized in the SMG as well. This basically removes the grind of unlocking new attachments for every new weapon. In this way, all the attachments are shared within multiple weapon platforms. But at the same time, there are few attachments that can be shared in all weapons of the game. In this way, you can actually customize your weapons a lot better and faster, and at the same time, you might be able to create a loadout which is much stronger for you. Brand new maps have been introduced as well, and most of these maps will be very colorful, straightforward, and tight as well. One of the maps that we got to see was Serif Base. Now, this is a fishing town in the south coast of the big map. You have underwater areas, tighter alleyways, rooftop combats, and it's gonna be a much larger map for Team Deathmatch. There's also a map for 6v6 specifically, and one of them is Mercado Las Almas. The story for this is that the authorities got intel that narcotics are being smuggled in the warehouse, and they're going to find it. Apparently, it's going to be a very high-paced action one, so you gotta keep a look around. Now, speaking of game modes, a brand new game mode called Invasion has been introduced, which is a much bigger team deathmatch of 32 versus 32 players. It's supposed to be a much chill game mode where the announcer is not going to bark orders at you all the time, but at the same time, there will be AIs in each team. This game is apparently going to have a much better AI and a much smarter AI, and that's why this particular mode will be utilizing much more of the AIs. But the other game modes will not have any AIs whatsoever. Another game mode is called Prison Rescue, which is a 6v6 mode. It's pretty self-explanatory, where the team is going to find the hostages and rescue them, while the other team is going to defend the attackers from rescuing those hostages. Once you pick up the hostage, you get a radar sweep, and you can actually tell where the enemies are. And for the defenders, the objective marker goes away. So now the defenders will have to go to the exfil point and set up defenses to stop them from rescuing. I think the part where you are trying to rescue the hostage is gonna get much more chaotic because it's defenses and attackers is gonna be constant respawn all the time. There's also a third-person mode in the game, which is quite surprising, but it's gonna be available in all game modes, including Warzone 2.0. Speaking of Warzone 2.0, there are huge amount of changes in the game. There's a brand new map called Al Mazrah, which is the biggest map of Warzone, and it also includes water bodies. Just like the previous maps, there will be cities, airports, under construction sites, railways, and more. There are few locations which will be familiar to the original Modern Warfare 2 as well. There's also a very cool town called Sabah Village, which is a town completely flooded with water. So a lot of water action there. In terms of loot, it's gonna be pretty much the same, but there is a stronghold, which is a reinforced building done by the AI. So you can go there and try to kill the AIs, with which you will be rewarded, and you might even get very good loadouts. Few special things added in the game, such as if you get wounded, you can actually go to a bathroom of a house and you can find a container where you can find a medkit. Similarly, there are some weapon caches available across the map and it stays in that particular location all the time, so you can memorize where it is. New vehicle mechanics have also been implemented. This time around, vehicle weight is also taken into account, so they will react to explosions differently. You can also shoot the tires of a car so that you can change the handling and they might even crash out, or it might be harder for them to control. The cars will run out of gas, so you will have to go to a gas station and then fill up the gas. They also introduce a brand new circle where at one point the circle is going to divide into 2, 3 or 4 circles, where there will be teams in these circles fighting against each other, and at another point the circles will converge into one. So now you have to rush all the way to that particular circle and then the final battle will begin. It will be a lot more chaotic than it was in the first Warzone. Since we have all these changes, Gulag also had to change. And this time around, it's going to be quite different. Instead of 1v1, it seems like it's going to be 2v2, because you will be teaming up with another enemy and you will have to defeat another team so that both of you can spawn back. But at the same time, it seems like there might be AI there as well. They also talked about another mode which is coming with Warzone, and it's called DMZ, but they didn't mention much about it. All we know is that it's going to be an extraction mode similar to Escape from Tarkov, and it's going to happen in the Warzone 2.0 map, where you will get into that particular map and do your goals, but at the same time you'll have large number of AIs as well as other players, and you can extract whenever you feel you need to. Again, we are not so sure how that is going to work, but they said that more information can only be provided when the game is actually out, so we'll have to wait for that one. Lots of things happening in the world of Call of Duty for Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2.0. Not to mention that Warzone is also coming to mobile. That's another thing. What are your thoughts about Call of Duty and Modern Warfare 2 in general? Are you guys getting that game? Let me know all about that in the comments below.